It's just after 1 o'clock. This is All Angles here on eNCA. Good afternoon. I'm Masego Ratlaga. It is that time of the day when we give you an update on how far some of the stories we've been following up for you on channels today have advanced. Here's your lunchtime update. Now, our reporters are out and about, bringing you the latest on today's top stories. I am joined by Avu Mdila in Johannesburg. Ronald Masinda is in East London. And Desan Thathia is in Camperdown in KZN. Avu, let me start with you. Of course, you were in the Randburg Magistrates Court this morning with regards to those VIP protection units, 8 of them who actually were protecting Paul Mashatile, the Deputy President. What exactly did the NPA say about them getting bail today?
Masego, I'll get on to that in a moment, but the judgment itself was quite scathing for both the 8 VIP unit accused that stood on the dock as well as the state itself. For the accused, the magistrate made it quite clear that she can't trust them to protect the communities, given the allegations of how they brutally attacked members of the public while being not aware that they were actually being filmed. But for the state, it was even more scathing. The magistrate suggesting that the case of the state is actually quite weak and frail and was prematurely brought onto the roll. And of course, that is based on the main argument that the state suggests that if they are let out on bail, they will pose a threat to some of the witnesses that are currently protected. They're being protected, and one of them being Mr. Kuhn. That's the security expert that actually leaked that video that went viral of the allegations, of course, and what we saw, the brutal assault of those 2 people on the ground there. But the suggestion is that while that video was leaked, then Mr. Kuhn got messages that were threatening of why he leaked that video. But the magistrate seemed to suggest that this currently can't be leaked directly to the 8 VIP unit personnel in terms of linking that message to the, well, coming from the 8 VIP unit. But we do know that the video itself did not originate from Mr. Kuhn. He received it from someone that's currently refusing to give out their identity in fear, of course, of what may happen. But the suggestion is that, in fact, the state at this stage hasn't been in touch with that particular person. So the case itself is not strong. And even when it comes to the witnesses, Masego, we do understand that statements haven't actually been taken from the witnesses that were assaulted by these 8 VIP unit protection personnel. In fact, we do understand that the parade itself that's supposed to be done, identification parade, wasn't done. In fact, it's some of what I posed to the NPA, Masego, then leading to your question on what they have to say, just about what the magistrate's saying, that the case is weak and frail, and in fact granting the 8 accused bail of 10,000 rand, telling them to come back to the magistrate's court in Randburg on the 27th of September. This is what Pinem Jonondwana, the NPA spokesperson, had to say.
Not having confirmed where the SMS comes from dealt as a blow in our case to oppose the bail application of the accused before court. However, those investigations are ongoing, as we have indicated in court, that we do have other manners to try and locate the originator of that SMS. Well, there are various ways to prove identity. And with what we have as a state, remember we indicated that one of the senior officials that is managing the accused before court places them at the scene of crime. One of the accused before court places 4 of them at the scene of the crime. We also have documentary evidence in the form of their warning statements, also placing themselves at the scene of the crime.
Now, Ronald, the gale force winds in the Eastern Cape have left a trail of destruction. People left homeless after their houses were destroyed. How are mop-up operations?
Well, the damages are still being assessed, with the latest official being the MEC for Health in the province, Nomakosazana Meth, going to Kofimvaba, where one of the health facilities was damaged due to the gale force winds. She did confirm to us earlier that several health facilities in the province were damaged, and her concerns, Masego, is that some of these health facilities are not conducive, especially when we experience strong weather conditions. But where we are at the moment. We are at a place called Silver Town, and residents here are up in arms. They say they cannot in 2023 be living in cardboards, Masego. They're describing their conditions as even worse when they experience bad weather conditions. I mean, we visited several homes, and some say that they are lucky that their homes did not collapse on them, and they've been saying to the Buffalo City Metro that they must do something urgently. A lot of the residents here are beneficiaries of houses, and they say they've been on the waiting list for many years. Some even alluding to a housing development that they were supposed to move in, and that they say that some of the people who are living there actually hijacked those buildings. But that's a story for another day. The long and short of it is that, according to the residents, a contractor and the Buffalo City Metro have been at loggerheads, and this has resulted in some of the properties here damaged, while the other properties that we went to where people have occupied say that the living conditions have become so unbearable. We heard from one community leader earlier.
Most people are destitute. They have nowhere to go. That is why they opted for staying here, but it was only a temporary setup, according to the officials that brought people here. They're promising its promises. Nothing has been done, actually. All the 3 years that we've been here, nobody has moved since.
All right, Dessen, now a debate, of course, over land allegedly being sold to people by scammers is causing quite a stir in Camperdown. What exactly is the situation there? What's the story?
Well, I can tell you, Maseko, just the events that played out earlier today were underscored by confusion and anger. So a short while ago, there was a group of police officers and private security officials and a team that arrived on a bakkie, and the intention was to break down some of the structures that had been put up on this land. And I'll show you what it looks like. This is quite an expansive piece of land here, and there are various demarcations showing plots that people had bought. Some of these plots valued at about 65,000 rand, I'm told. They've paid that money to certain sellers, but the dispute is really around who owns the land. So whether this is under the traditional authority, whether it's this alleged group that now owns it and has been planning to use it, or whether it's those that are now currently on the land have bought it from. But there is absolutely no clarity yet, and that's what's led to the confusion. So amid all of this, one particular group has gone to court, and they allegedly then got a court order that resulted in them bringing a team here to demolish some of these structures. That's what played out earlier. But interestingly enough, when the team did arrive here, the reason for the confrontation was because they hadn't presented that court order to the occupants of the land now. There was building taking place earlier today. And there was a confrontation that almost came to blows as a result of that. The police then left. They came back with a court order, but even that was not the appropriate documentation that they needed. And ultimately they retreated, along with the security company that was here as well, and those that had started destroying some of the structures. When we did speak to those that live here, or those that were building here, they say that they are the rightful owners of the land and that they've bought this from the appropriate sellers, and they received documentation, they received PTO as they call it, and as a result of that they believe that they should be here, and they want to know now who's going to pay for the damages that resulted as a result of those that came here and started demolishing their structures. Let's listen into a conversation that took place earlier on this land when those teams were on site.
Nginga ukuthi la sakhila khuluma nabantu sithenga kubona musana kuzohlukumeza thina la iningi lana nama foreigners anisiko namalabala ngizoya kwaMalawi ngizoya kwaZimbabwe ngizosihlukumeza la yabotho ngowasempala nizoyimisa wena lo wakuphi lo base sisuka shala base masihlasela bakuthiwana alo mngamviterazi sithengile la nina uma ukuthi ninenkinga nabantu abathengile la hlukumezani bona hayi thina imali le ubani sijwayela kahle ufuna asho ukuthi yena uqashile ubani sukani la yena uthi asizeke ayekani ke la nikangena imali le sokubhekana nani sokubana nani manje sijwayela kahle kuzoba inkinga mase sibajaha laba ngaphandle babhuti benu basebenza ngama hardware niyasihlukumeza kuzoba inkinga.
Right, that was your eNCA lunchtime update from all angles with reporters Avu Mtila, Ronald Masinda and Desin Thathia. Thank you, team. Let's leave it there for now.